the most important would be your knowledge base. I mean, it's not that you have not studied your subject and you're going to survive on your art of presentation. So in today's webinar, Sanjay is asking me to focus on Dudley because he saw this been used in one of my presentations. So I'm going to take you through some of these slides. And so if you see here, you see the way I'm writing Satish Deopujari, okay, and the way the bat is drawn, this is by using Dudley. Now what Dudley does, these are all whiteboard presentation areas. So what it actually does is, in the same static diagram can be shown as if drawn by human hand. Now, this is a very interesting stuff because, it's not that you're using something else. The same image can be shown as if the hand is drawing that image. And when you do that, it gives you a more human feeling that there's someone who is drawing on the whiteboard and, you are seeing it happening. You get the time to explain while this is ongoing. So while the image is getting drawn, you can explain the participants as to what this slide shows you. And that is what the Dudley is about. It has its own, you can record your audio while this presentation is being done. Now, what is important here is these images are drawn live when you have time to talk to the audience about what the image is about. So if I take this further, you've seen this, right? So let's talk about just about few slides to tell you as to how the presentation is done. So this is one slide which shows you while I was speaking about what the basics of COVID is. These animations, right? So when an animation is done, it is better to be minimalistic. If a lot of people would too much of animation and would flood the whole slide with text. Now, if you study this slide, there's hardly any text here. This is I feel another very important thing, whether you use Dudley or use any other art of presentation. When one is presenting, one is doing more talking and less of presentation. But that presentation should be crisp, should be specific to what you're trying to present. Like as you can see here, I'm trying to explain the compliance of the lung. And see the amount of text, and that I feel is the right way, right proportion of. A lot of people would just keep on presenting the text. And I'll also show you how sometimes I use a trick. If you have too much of text material, how you can do that, I'll show you in one of the slides. But keep as less as possible of text. This is another very important thing. So what we have discussed so far is, one, your topic, extremely important. I mean, the most important thing would be that. Then on your slides, keep minimum slides. For example, half an hour of my presentation will never ever have more than maximum 22 slides. Whereas I was an organizing chairman for plenty of conferences, national and some of them international. When I saw the slides of faculties for a 15-minute presentation, someone had made 50 slides. For a 15-minute presentations, someone had made 50 slides. If that is done, then things like Dudley will have no use because they would run so fast that nobody would appreciate as to what you have done. So remember, as less as possible of text is the most important point when you talk of presentation. Now, I'm trying to kind of explain what is compliance in this slide. Compliance is relation of volume to pressure, and this is extremely important for anybody who wants to learn critical care. So in all our lectures on critical care, a lot of time is spent on compliance and resistance. Now what I did here is, you can see this beautiful video done on Dudley to show you as to what is the compliance is all about. And I'm trying to now see what I've done here. This small little point which I want to emphasize as an important point in this image. Now you see here, I can write 10 pages if it comes to explaining this slide. But few important things are very, very clearly shown here. That the important thing, that if it comes to it, is the point which I'm emphasizing as critical, where one should be when you ventilate a child or an adult. So I would love it here, means this is the point of pressure that I would love to be when I'm ventilating, when the lungs are properly, adequately inflated. Now this was done in Dudley. Now when you do something in Dudley, what are you doing is creating a vector image. Creating a vector image means, see this image pointer, okay, is moving from, can you see my cursor? Is moving from here and it goes like this. Now it goes, there's an upstroke and there's a downstroke. Now you saw it moving. Now this image is different than the usual image of pressure volume relationship. Now how I did this was, I created an SVG image. Now for example, you saw the blog which explained about whiteboard software, and I have no commercial interest in Dudley. Please note that I have no commercial interest in Dudley, and I'm just trying to present the art as to how these images are done. So if I have to show you how you do a SVG image, there are various softwares to create an SVG image, and one of the very interesting software that I use is known as Inkscape, Inkscape, Inkscape. This software can allow you, and it is amazing that this complex software is available free. I'm extremely impressed with this software. More than anything else, such a big software, so well functioning, can be available free. So what actually is done in this software is, if you draw an image on this software, like if I use, if you use this software, right, and like for example, if I use this tool which I have selected from the menu, and I'm trying to draw an image, the image that you saw, like this, then I can draw the X and Y axis. Okay, now this image can be imported into Dudley. Of course, you have to save this image. So let's see how this is drawn. Is, like there are various ways of various facilities given to you. So you can draw a square here, Okay, you can draw a circle or whatever you like, and you can even draw very interesting 3D diagrams. Some of them, they could be very interesting. So some of these diagrams could be drawn, and these images are drawn as, they can be saved as vector images. Now, when I say vector images, these images would move, okay, as drawn by a pen. And there's so many things that you can do here. I'll just delete some of them. So you can draw varieties of things, and all this can be edited and changed, and different colors can be given to them. So you could put different colors to these images. Okay, and if I save them as an SVG image, if I save these images as an SVG image, this image will be shown as drawn by human hand. And there are varieties of things that you can do with these images. Okay, there are varieties of things that you can do to these images. Amazing things can be done. You can use, suppose you want to draw a lung here, okay, with the airway. Okay, if you want to draw a lung with the airway, you can draw that. Okay, so let's take so if this is trachea, shown in dividing into left and right bronchus, and let's say I draw one lung here, and I draw the other lung here. Now, if I save this image as an SVG image, you can save as PNG image also. You can also save this image as an SVG image. Okay, so if you save this as an SVG image, and if I import this image in Dudley, I'll show you how it works. So this then will work like the one I showed you. So like let's say now we are talking about how do we create an SVG image. Okay, so I have this folder where I've saved some SVG images. Some of them are available free on net. Some of them you have to buy from Dudley. So these images are saved here as SVG images. And you can then use this in Dudley to create those kind of softwares. For example, you can see here, say this image is an SVG image here. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge this image. Now this is an SVG image which is imported in a software called Inkscape. This is made of various parts. This, you saw the way it was drawn. So this image is made of various parts, and I can show you as to how those parts are. So if I have to outline those parts, then this image is not a simple image of various lines. Okay, so how to really actually see the image? I can add to this. Say for example, I take up this pen and from here and add that this bird is eating something like this. Okay, now this that I've done here will be drawn on the slide. Okay, and when I save this, you will see this image will become a video. This image will become a video. So that is how I can actually kind of draw whatever I want to draw on this image and make a video out of this image. Now I'll show you how this image is made of, and so how this image is made of, I'll just show you in a minute. No, it's not all that difficult. Like, we need to get interested into doing this. So these that you see here are all SVG images. Okay. Now let's say this image that you see here. This is made of various parts. So there are various parts here. For example, when I'm saying mouth, this is made of different parts, and you can separate this from here. You can then, like separate the tongue from the dental structure that you see here. Now this is right eye, so I can move this here. Okay, I can move this here. So when you do this, these are the various parts that this image is made of. And when you draw this path, see, now you can see how these parts are. Sandhya, come here and see this one. How these parts are made of. You will never see this kind of thing because nobody teaches us how an image is made of. Okay, so let's say left eye, and this left eye is made of this particular black structure. I have moved it here. Okay, this is made of these eyebrows, and you can move the eyebrows here. Okay, so when they have moved, they have put in a group, they will move together. But otherwise, every of these images could be fractioned into various components. So this is this image, which is made of these kind of lines or paths, is called as a vector image. Vector means it has a direction, right? So I think somebody has thought of putting it this way. So so you can identify these various paths, and that is how this SVG image is made of. There are subfractions. Okay, and then when there are subfractions, you can separate them. Okay, like in if the right eye, I select this right eye, you can see how it works. So right eye is now moving as a group, but you can separate the components of the various things. Like for example, now I have selected this part. Okay, this can be moved. This was say here. Okay, or say here. Now the image was moved from these various components, and these are SVG images. So I used various software. So while I was showing you the various paths, I used a software called Logos, okay, to show you as to how this image was made of. Interestingly, I've seen very good fellows in technology and in ITs. They don't put their head into this because they feel this is graphics. Okay. So as a doctor, if you want to know some very good presentation tricks, you should know small little parts of every of those things. Like one, I should know myself, which I always emphasize is the most important. I should know to use less text and more of animations, but also not overdo just because I know animations. Those slides should not be in totality into very complex animations. So, the SVG images which form a part of Dudley is exactly what this is. Now, I'll actually show you how. So, at this moment, we have opened Logistics 4, which is a software for separating these images. And you can actually, from Logistics, make your own slides using their own preformed structures. So, like, if for example I use this, now I'll show you how this image is made of. See, like they have this butterfly, okay, which if I have to show you, I can separate this into various components. So say this is out here, okay, this is out here, this was a group. Now I can go back here, change this path this way, and then attach this. So now I have enlarged one component of this so-called butterfly looking structure. So these are various parts that this image is made of, and they're active parts, so they will get drawn when I import this image in Dudley. The topic for today's presentations was Dudley in medical presentations. Okay, so I'm restricting myself to one software called Dudley. Okay, so if I go to Dudley, this costs about 5,000 rupees, but remember, it's not just 5,000. There are images that are available for presentation, and if you import all those images, it will be quite a costly affair. But I have now learned over a period of time to create my own SVG images, which needed me to about an year to learn. Then there are plenty of free images on the entire web, which you can use, and they are you have legally you can use them. So like if you want to use, say, let's say, say this presentation, I was trying to make a presentation on Raspberry. So this is what I was trying to make. Now, if you look at this, the way it draws. Okay, now the image of mother and baby that you are seeing here, this image is made by me. Okay, some of these images are from Dudley, but they are available free. You'll have to work hard on that. So this is how, and then you can change the background. All those things can be done. Like let's see the screen settings. Now this is black here, so I can customize this setting into, say, yellow, say apply. Okay, and having done that, this slide, if I change this, okay, and change the background from here to here, say apply. Now see, it has become black, it has become yellow. Now I'll have to change the color of the text. So that can be done. I'm sure you all will understand that all can be done. You can change the text color and all that, right? So you can able to select this text and then change the color. So all that is possible. And when you change the text color, the text would become, if I select the text, it will become black. I have to save this, and you will see this in preview. There are certain things which are available as preform, like you can see all these are available, so you can edit and change them. So I'll show you one of them, how it can be. So if let's say if I have to make something new, okay, I'll have to go to my videos, create this. Now I'm just trying to explain you. Yesterday when I was preparing this, you can see this, right? Now this was something like an emoji, and you can see this bird. Now this emoji was created by me, by using various paths. So let's say preview of this as to how it works. Now just drawing a beautiful image using 2 lines, and a small little image of this bird can also be shown. Now if I have to dissect this image, let's see, if I dissect this image and show you as to how this image was made, okay, then let's say, you know, this image was quite a big image. So now I will show you, see, you can see these are the paths that this image is made of. So, you know, these are the various paths, path 1, path 2, path 3 is this eye, path 4. So this is made. Now let's see, now I can, this path that you're seeing, I can make it thicker by changing this. Now see what happens here. See, now this path has become wider or thicker, and if I save this, when it draws, you will see what happens. So let's say, let's put it here and save it, and let's have a preview. Now see this, have you seen the change here? This change was because I wanted to mark that eye. Now if I make it even more thick, you will see, you will then understand what I'm trying to tell you. See, we chose this path, and now I am making it even more wider, okay, because I wanted to emphasize, see the left eye, okay. I have saved it, I'm putting it in the central position and giving you a preview. So you saw that the path is becoming much more important and much more clearer. Now you'll be surprised, this small little bird that you see here is made of how many paths? Can you see this? You can see the preview here. You see these dotted lines that you see here, okay, is this bird and made of all these paths. So there are about how many paths here? 63 paths. So if I have to find out what the 61 path is, you see the blue shade that you see here is the 61 path. 60 is the 61 path. Now if I make this path thick as I've done now, okay, and save and return to this main menu, and now see the preview of this small little birdie that you see here. So of course, I mean, this needs a lot of understanding. Then, you know, like now I'll tell you what the Dudley offers. It's like I'm marketing for Dudley, but believe me, it's nothing. I'm just my matter of interest as to now. You know, you can see this, right? You just see this is a OT bed, okay. Now I have inserted this bed here. Now if you don't want this oxygen cylinder, okay, or move it here, you can move it here. Okay, you want this bed to be moved here, you can do that. Now at this moment of time, I want some doctor to be here. So I'm deleting all these. I'm deleting this monitor. And now let's see, I want a doctor to be adding here. And so there are a lot of images of, and if you want the doctor to be young, smart, and not very old like us, I can choose for you this young girl here. Okay. Someone says, why haven't I chosen a boy? You know, so I have a senior consultant like me here. Okay. And so now, you know, you can see, let's delete the young girl for a while, and let's have the consultation between a senior consultant and say the mother of the child. Now when I save this, and I give you a preview of what has happened here. So this is the second slide of what story we are trying to create. This is how the various equipments are getting drawn. These are all the SVG images. And now you see this, right? These images are made of various parts. So let's say what I want to say about this. Now, like there's only one path shown here. So when the image is drawn, I can see a preview here. Okay, it's drawn this way, but I can create a new path. This path can be, let's say I'm creating a path of the nodes that are shown here. You can see I'm trying to create a path. So when it is getting drawn, the focus will be on this part in this section. I can widen the outline of the board and now save. And now I'll give you a preview of only this part of this. You see the board being shown more clearly here.
I'm on it. Okay, I found this on the web for more.
And you can kind of decide to draw it slowly. Like let's say now I made this 6 seconds, this drawing, and I've saved it. So now when it draws this, it will be a slightly slower action. See now this drawing slower than what it was drawn earlier. So these images can be used in various ways, and there are certain predefined images like you can see here. These all come from Dudley. So you can see all these images here. You can create and import an image. So this is one of the Dudley images that you see. Okay, and if I insert an image which is a image which is SVG, there's a lot of limitations of what images are added to Dudley. So it's not that every image can be added here, but I'll just show you how an SVG image can be added to Dudley. So some of the images which were created by me, okay, and they have a defined path. So let's say this image, okay, this kind of looks like me. So I tried doing this, and in the time of Corona, wanted to have a slightly different beard diagram. Now let's see how many paths this image are. Now at this moment, as you can see here, I have to load SVG paths. Now see, this image looks interestingly simple, but these are the various paths that this image is made of. Okay. Now when I return back to this image, and now I give you a preview of this image structure, you saw that how the image was drawn. Now if I have to kind of highlight a path of this image, say if I highlight I want to highlight the hairstyle, so I'll have to choose from here as to what. Now this is the blue thing that you're seeing is defined. Now this is the hair. Okay, now if I make it, I make this path more thick like this, okay, save and return, and now I show the preview. So this is how an SVG image is made of. This is what the Dudley dashboard looks like. And of course, as I've told you, you can add a lot of these images that you see here. like this image was kind of created by me, some looking into some of the web designs. So this image is a Dudley image. Dudley image is characterized by these various paths. Okay, and so when you draw this, see the birdie being drawn, and you've seen the path that I've drawn here. So these images are can be created by you, are sometimes available free, and when you export this video, it can be exported in any format that you like. So it can go into whatever format which is most often compatible with a lot of softwares. So these are certain things that I use for creating these images. If I come back now, so what, a lot of efforts have gone in making this slide. So the slide looks beautiful, okay, but in fact it's like creating an art piece. The centering of where you put things, all that is important. You must put a thing right at that dot. You must make it in such a way that that you use less of text and more of imaging art. But now you see this slide. This is a very characteristic slide that goes with a good art presentation. There's hardly anything on this slide. So sometimes when people want my presentation, I tell them, okay, take no problem. But I know only I can speak on that presentation, right? So it's not that like you see this man, I'm shown him worried, okay, because I don't want to be here. See this, ideally a physician should be somewhere here. So all these are important things. See a couple of other Doodly videos I have used in this presentation. And again, see, it is hardly any text. This is a very important thing. So many things are put up into slides that this is the kind of slide it should be. It shows the two alveoli. It shows there's an obstruction to the alveoli, and it shows that this is blood which is not oxygenated. It remains unoxygenated because there's a block here in the main bronchi. So this slide is self-explanatory, and like see here, okay, and it looks nice. It looks nice to have these kind of things. And any slide should have less text. Is very important thing to understand. It should be as less as possible. And if sometimes I use a very interesting method of putting up references, I don't see it here, so that you can make a small video of the various references, so it doesn't look crumbled into one slide. Anyway, so this is how you can, of course, there's so much to talk about the art of presentation. There's just one glimpse that I gave you, and it's nice. I mean, I spend a lot of my time in first understanding what the topic is, and as you said, I don't copy anything from anywhere. So I then make my own images without making them too aggressive on a slide. Make them simple, keep less of text and less number of. So that is what my message would be for today's day.